If you don't like Tucker Carlson, if you don't like what he says, then stop making him the forbidden fruit. Quit glorifying what he's doing by banning him. Banning him is the best thing in the world to elevate and to focus attention. Remember the commercial, that expression banned in Boston years ago? Look, this is the most important thing in the world that you have got to understand, and we never seem to understand the rule. It's that simple. This is so ridiculous. This is the chance for me to try to explain to you that tries to integrate a number of points. That both the left and the right fear Tucker Carlson. He remains one of the most important and influential communicators, especially for young men. That, after the death or the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the vacuum is larger than ever, and that attacking Tucker Carlson only turns him into, yet again, the forbidden fruit. It elevates him into this new level of, I got to hear what he has to say. What is he? It must have been good. Why shouldn't I listen to him? Why do people do this? The worst thing you can do if you really want to neutralize thought is to say, what are you going to do? This is about Tucker Carlson, free speech, and this forbidden fruit effect. Why both the left and the right fear whom he might talk to. Every time the political class feels threatened, they reveal the same instinct. They try to silence the threat. They don't debate the ideas. They don't confront the facts. They attack the source. Tucker Carlson is now the prime example of this reflex. The push to stop him from interviewing people like Nick Fuentes, for whatever it's worth. You don't have to like him. You don't have to agree with him. You don't have to anything. He's in the news. Hello. This is the most incredible thing ever. This attack is not only coming from the left, it's coming from the right. And that fact alone should make every American uneasy. Why do ideas frighten you? If you don't like them, don't listen to them. The left's hatred of Tucker, predictable, understandable. They see him as the most influential communicator of ideas that challenge their worldview. He speaks to working people. He speaks to young men, in particular, who no longer trust the old institutions. He refuses to obey the rules of polite science. I get it, you get it. And that makes him dangerous to the cultural gatekeepers. But here's the interesting twist. Many on the right don't trust him either. Some resent his independence. Some fear or are jealous of his influence. Some worry that he can't be controlled. This bipartisan anxiety has created a strange alliance. And this goes back way to right after Fox. Remember that one? When he left Fox, he was the number one show on Fox. I think I've got a few reasons as to why he left as well, but I'll save that for later. Little internecine battles. But both sides want to limit whom he can talk to. Both sides want to shame or punish him for choosing the wrong guests. Now, this is not about Nick Fuentes. This is about power. Nick Fuentes, have you heard him? Have you heard what he has to say? Some of it's interesting. Some of it is childish. Some of it is petulant. Some of it's kind of stupid. Some of it is some kid trying to make a name for himself. So, I'm still the same person. I want to know what he's saying to find out what he says that somebody might find interesting. So I have a better gauge as to the spectrum of discussion. Tucker Carlson reaches audiences the political class only hopes, wishes they could reach, and they can't. He connects with people who've tuned out legacy news. He influences young influencers, or viewers, I should say, who, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, now have fewer outspoken figures speaking directly to them with clarity and force. Tucker Carlson, whether you like it or not, fills a void. He speaks without corporate scripts. He speaks without donor oversight. He speaks in plain English. And the establishment cannot stand a communicator they can't predict. So what happens? They attack the guests. They declare certain people unacceptable. They insist that interviewing someone equals endorsing them. They treat curiosity as collaboration. And they demand guilt by association. They want to turn the entire public square into a speech quarantine zone. You can talk to this person, but not to that one. We okay it. You can quote this thinker, but not that one. You can explore this topic, but not that one. And once you accept those limits, you no longer live in a free society. You're abnegating your own freedom of thought. Now, here is a part they never admit. If Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes tomorrow, nothing catastrophic would happen. No great social order would collapse. No mass conversion would take place. What would happen is the simplest thing possible. People would hear Fuentes. They would judge his ideas. Many would reject them. Some would laugh. Some would argue. Some would walk away. Some might like him. That is what adults do. That is what happens when you look at the marketplace of free ideas. It happens. Remember, you can buy Mein Kampf on Amazon. There is nothing Nick Fuentes could say on Tucker's platform that is so powerful it would reshape the nation unless the nation was already hungry for a conversation politicians refuse to have. And that's the real fear. They're not afraid of Nick Fuentes. They're afraid of the questions he raises about censorship or immigration or cultural identity, political authority, whatever you want to have. You know, nothing he's saying is novel. That's the best part. Look, I mean, with all due respect, you think he's the first one to come up with his worldview? Come on. They don't want the public to touch these topics because every time the public touches them, the establishment loses control. And the bottom line also is this. They want you to be able to accept limitation of speech and censorship. They want to acclimate. They want to habituate you to the notion of, well, if they say we can't listen, well, we can't listen. Well, if they folks, we can't. No. You should recoil and rebel and react negatively to this. The same people who now insist that Tucker cannot speak to Fuentes celebrate when Piers Morgan interviews serial killers. They cheer Netflix documentaries about men who butchered innocent families. They enjoy every lurid detail. They have no objection when Hollywood glamorizes psychopaths. They say and see it as art. They say it's journalism. They say it's important to confront evil. Yet somehow, especially in this world right now of true crime crazy, yet somehow talking to a controversial political figure becomes a crime against public morality? I don't understand this. It's not hypocrisy. It's schizoid confusion and philosophical and logical disconnect. This hypocrisy is an art form in its purest form. If Americans can handle interviews with cannibals, they can handle an interview with Nick Fuentes. If public libraries carry titles from the darkest movements in history, and if again Amazon sells Mein Kampf and the Anarchist Cookbook without shame, then the public can handle a conversation on a talk show with, face it, a kid. Smart kid who's saying nothing novel. He's just saying it in a way that's getting attention. Okay. All right. Where have I heard this before? And this brings us to the heart of the matter. When you censor someone, you don't weaken them. You strengthen them. You elevate them from marginal to mythical. You create a forbidden fruit. You place a glowing outline around their silhouette. You convince young people that the banned person must have some power or secret knowledge or insight so dangerous that the establishment cannot risk letting it be heard. That's how movements grow. Now, I know what people are going to say. No, this isn't the First Amendment because the First Amendment prohibits government censorship and the like. That's true. But it's not the thought police that scare me. It's the thought vigilantes. See, this is all civilian, homegrown, and self-censored. And when Tucker's critics screamed that he must not speak to Nick Fuentes or whoever the next one is, whoever they don't like next, what they actually accomplish is the one thing guaranteed to make young viewers curious. They treat the interview like contraband. They turn Tucker into a rebel figure standing outside the gates of polite society. And the more they attack him, the larger he becomes. And the more they fear him, the more people wonder why. Will they ever learn? Both sides now fear Tucker because both sides know the truth. The man is a narrative killer. He has the ability to ask simple questions that destabilize official stories. He has the ability to look straight into a camera and talk to millions without apology. He does not fear the political class, the tech giants, or the consultants. That independence, that very independence, is extinct in modern media. When a voice like that survives the establishment, you treat him as a contagion. You see, the correct response to controversial speech is more speech, not less. Remember the Supreme Court in 1977, I believe, when it ruled that the Nazi Party could march in Skokie? That was one of the most hated, probably as groups in America history. Yet the court said the free speech must protect the worst voices because that protection shields the rest of us. And the same principle protected the right to sell the anarchist cookbook, and I can go on and on and on. Ideas are not bombs. Books are not crimes. Interviews are not endorsements. And by the way, everybody always has to do this. They always say, well, I don't agree with everything that Tucker agrees. Isn't that a given? Do you know anybody that you agree with everything they say? The First Amendment does not require you to like a speaker. It requires you to tolerate their presence in the public square because the alternative is state-approved speech. And if you don't like it, turn it off. Off is a selection also, unlike or similar to volume. Turn it off. Don't watch it. Watch it and reject it. Do what you want. Once the government or cultural ruling class decides who can speak, the game is over. Gone. So let Tucker Carlson interview whomever he wants. Let him talk to saints, sinners, idealists, grifters, punks, cannibals, freaks, reprobates, paraphiles, dreamers, lunatics, prophets, losers, visionaries. I don't care. America, no, we are strong enough to hear any voice. Free citizens can decide who is wrong. They don't need political babysitters. Censorship is always a confession. It admits fear. It admits weakness. It admits that the truth cannot survive exposure to competing ideas. If Tucker's critics only believed, truly believed, if they actually believed that Nick Fuentes is wrong, they would invite the interview. They would let the man talk. Nothing exposes a fool faster than his own microphone. Hoist by his own petard, as we say. So instead they panic. Oh, no, they scold, they blacklist, they warn Americans to stay away. And in doing so, they hand Tucker the one thing every communicator wants, a mystique, a sense of danger, the forbidden fruit effect. So congratulations to the censors. They have made Tucker larger than ever, if that's even possible. They've ensured that people who never cared to hear him will now tune in. Isn't that something? Isn't that great? So what do you do? What do we do now? What is a sentient person to do? Well, listen to me. If you want a free society, defend the right to hear any voice, even the ones you reject. Do not let the political class decide your playlist. Push back against the gatekeepers and others who want to fence in the public square. Stand up for open debate. Stand up for speech. Stand up for the simple truth that Americans can think for themselves. It's that simple. This isn't brain surgery. It's very, very simple. And I thank you for this. I beseech, entreat, importune, and ask that you like this show, subscribe to the channel. 80% of the people who watch this don't subscribe. And make note and take note of two special sponsors of ours. One is the great Mike Lindell. Talk about free speech. What he's been through trying to sell pillows at MyPillow is incredible. It's inordinate. Go to mypillow.com/Lionel. Get a free gift. I know it's tautological. Sue me. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel or /Lionel, solidus or virgule. And my Patriot Supply, go to preparewithlionel.com. When the egesta hits the fan, my friends, there's four things you need. You know, food, water, energy, and ammo. Can't help you with the ammo, but I can with the rest. When it comes to emergency food, preparewithlionel.com is simply the best. If you don't think the storm clouds mean anything, you haven't opened the window. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. Answer the questions in the comment section, in the links, and comment as you see fit.